call to order the Kalamazoo County Board of Commissioners Committee of the Whole for November the 18th. Scroll back up. Thank you very much. All right, clerk, will you please call the roll?
Commissioner Morales.
Present.
Commissioner Ray.
Present.
Chair Straps.
Here.
Vice Chair Taylor.
Here.
Commissioner Wheeler.
Here.
Commissioner DeLue. Here. Commissioner Kistler. Vice Chair Pro Tem Hepler. Commissioner Mason.
Here.
You have 7 present.
Thank you so much. We know that Vice Chair Pro Tem is out of the community at this time, and Commissioner Kistler will be joining us shortly in fashion form as usual. All right, we'll move forward next to public comment. Public comment can be made in person or it can be made by phone by calling 855-925-2801 and then entering meeting code 10748. Then you have to press *3 to join the queue. It's your opportunity to address the board for up to 3 minutes on any topic on a professional and respectful manner. Once you're recognized, please state your name and where you're from. Is there anyone in chambers wishing to share a public comment? Yeah, please come forward. Join us at the podium. The bottom of the mic, there's a little, you should see a button with like a person on it. That turns it on. There you go. Go ahead. Try again. There you go. Welcome.
Thank you. My name is Kim Kimmy. I'm a resident of Richland Township in Kalamazoo County, and I'm a member of the current Kalamazoo County Fair Council. Today I'm in front of you as a parent of a child in the 4-H horse project, and I'm asking the board to set the date for the 2026 Kalamazoo County Fair as soon as possible. Ideally before the end of this month, so that 4-H horse project members don't lose their chance to show at the fair. In 2025, 14 kids from our club showed at the fair, at the showcase. Our club is the CC Riders. We bring 10 to 14 horses to the fair each year, and we perform a horse drill team demonstration on the Saturday for Family Day. All of the children in our club lease and use horses from East Fork Farms in Augusta. East Fork has been very supportive of 4-H. They paused their summer camp program for a full week in August so that our kids can take their horses to the fair. But they set their schedule for those summer camps in December. And once those dates are published, they can't be changed. If the dates for the 2026 fair are still unknown at the time that East Fork publishes their schedule, it's very possible that there will be a conflict between the fair and the summer camp dates. And that would mean that horses would not be available for us to use, and our 4-H kids would not be able to participate. Aside from disappointed kids, it also means that 10 to 14 fewer horses would be at the fairgrounds, and there would be no CC Rider drill team performance. You'd also have a loss of about 100 hours of volunteer time from our families. For this reason, I'm asking that you consider a proposal from the Fair Council that will be put in front of you this afternoon to set the date for the 2026 Kalamazoo County Fair so that East Fork and our families can plan for the coming year. Additionally, as a member of the Fair Council, I do want to offer my support of changing the format of that group, dissolving our council and replacing it with a working group that can make decisions and can act a little quicker than what currently happens. Thank you.
Thank you. Welcome. Good afternoon.
Hi, my name is Rebecca Coburn. I live in the Galesburg community. I'm in Kalamazoo County, and I am here asking the board to please set dates for the 2026 Kalamazoo County Fair as soon as possible, and please ideally before the end of the month. Kalamazoo County, I am here representing the 4-H project, specifically the Horse Leaders Council, and I also represent a club as I am a co-leader. All livestock have to hire judges, and I don't specifically know about other species, but I do know for horses, we normally try to have all of our judges hired by the end of November. Last year, we ended up not being able to find some and hire until mid-January, and it became very problematic and nearly impossible to find judges at that point. So it is crucial not only for horses, but I'm sure also other livestock that we have dates as soon as possible so we can begin finding the judges. The dates recommended by as previously stated, there has been dates recommended by the Fair Council. The dates recommended by the Fair Council is what we are here to request that you approve. Horses are different than any other species in that the second week of August, we go to MSU for a state competition. The kids earn points throughout fair, and those points help give them eligibility to be able to show at the state fair, the state horse show. Horses have to be at fair from Sunday to Saturday, and in that range. If you chose the second week of August, then many of the horse kids would not be able to attend the full fair, and they would have to leave in order to go be able to show at the state horse show, which they earned points for last year. In 2026, that could mean if they have to leave halfway through fair, they're not eligible to go to state the following year because they weren't there for the whole fair and they lost out on points. We all understand that the carnival is a focus and we understand working towards that. Our hope is that you will try to put it on the back burner so we could figure it out for 2027, so we could have the dates to hire judges and see our kids can figure out eligibility with the state. The kids in our club specifically are concerned about the fair overlapping the state show and losing out on their points. Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Rebecca. Is there anyone else? Yep, go ahead. Welcome.
Thank you. My name is Pam Van Dongen. I live in Galesburg, from Kalamazoo County. You're going to see kind of a theme here. I'm again from the Kalamazoo County 4-H Horse Council. We're a very tight community. We all work really well together. We're here to support our kids. A few years ago, when COVID happened, and we lost some opportunities at the fair to have a carnival, things kind of changed for us, but you may have noticed that 4-H stayed strong. Our kids continued to show. We do whatever we need to get those kids together and to be down there and to show their species, their projects. When I was a kid, and it continues now, I've been a leader for over 20 years. And I showed in 4-H when I was a kid. So I have 35 years of 4-H experience. And going to the fair as a kid and continuing now, it's the best week of the year for our kids. My daughters who showed in 4-H and my son who wasn't a 4-H'er, but he tagged along. Everybody agreed it was the most fun week of the year. And our kids, it's very important to them. It's very social, but it's a great opportunity for them. And I would say I don't think you'll see my 4-H kids in jail. So it's a good learning experience. It's a good positive. We provide a lot of positive role modeling and experiences for these kids. We really need to get the dates of our fair figured out. I'm the one who's responsible for hiring the judges for the horse project. You heard Becca talk about that, and Kim. And it is increasingly difficult every year. Judges are harder and harder to come by, and we want to get the best judges available for our kids. We want to give them the best opportunity. The show circuit that I show for already has all of their judges for the whole year. So we're competing against other circuits, and it's really hard for us to find those judges. So I would just ask maybe that you could consider that when you vote on the dates of August 2 through 8 or 9. To give us our opportunity for the fair. The carnival is fun, and it would be a bonus. Our kids, we talked about it at our last meeting, our kids would love to have a carnival again, but it's not the most important thing to them. The most important thing is being there, being part of that community, and having their livestock down there. The state show is August 13 to 16. And yes, like Becca said, kids do have to leave the fair if we have it during that week. So we do ask that we have the first full week of August, which is the 2nd through the 8th or 9th. The Fair Council, I attended a meeting last week of the Fair Council, and I'm not on the Fair Council, but I did attend. And they recommended that we terminate or abolish or discontinue the Fair Council and start using more of a organizing or working group. And I think that would be great because we can get more voices and more opportunity for organizing the fair, making it a better opportunity for our kids.
Pam,
Anyway, I think that's about it. So
thank you so
very
much.
much. I
Thank you
appreciate
for
it.
your comments. We appreciate your time, Pam. Is there anyone else wishing to share public comment? Please come forward. Good afternoon, welcome.
Okay, this thing is on, right?
It's already on.
I
Yep.
have trouble with this. All right. Hi, good afternoon. My name is Julie Stolsky. I am current president of the Fair Advisory Board, and I'll keep it short and sweet because I think you've heard the same message over and over again. First off, I just want to say thank you to the county commissioners for supporting 4-H and MSU Extension and our Park and Recs and giving us some money to do our fair. And I think our board is excited for our future and where we get to go. We know we have a lot of work to do, but we're excited to partner with the Park and Recs and MSU Extension and get things figured out. And as they said, our board did vote and we want to recommend the 2nd through the 8th for the fair. We're working on getting a carnival. It doesn't happen overnight. And so we've got other things in the works as well. So we hope you continue your support for us. It's very important what we do, and it's important to the kids and the celebration and education of agriculture. So just want to say thank you and introduce myself. So thank you.
Thank you very much, Julie. Is there anyone else? Good afternoon.
Hi, my name is Christina Chase and I'm from Richland, Kalamazoo County. I'm the new president of 4-H Leaders Council. And I just wanted to kind of voice my opinion on the fair board, and that for years I've sat on the council and I have listened to, we don't have a quorum. We couldn't vote on this. And I think it's a good idea to move in the direction of an interacting action club where more people can participate. Obviously, you have a lot of 4-H people that are willing to participate in that. So listening to year after year, we don't have a quorum. We can, you can't move forward on that. So kind of having an interaction, I think, is more appropriate. Thank you.
Thank you as well. Thanks, Christina. Is there anyone else wishing to make public comment? Welcome.
Hi, thank you. My name is Beth Berglund and I live in Kalamazoo. Not talking about the fair. I'm the Director of Policy and Strategy at the Michigan Transformation Collective, and for the past year, we've facilitated the countywide Child Care Coalition. Formed in November of 24, we're the Kalamazoo County Table of the Southwest Michigan Child Care Coalition, and we're also a work group of the Kalamazoo Blueprint for Peace, addressing the need for improving childcare access for families with children 0 to 3. We believe the childcare industry is a broken system and that parents can't afford the higher fees. Teachers' undervalued labor forces them out. We believe childcare should be a profession that ensures a good quality of life for all staff, recognizing that when childcare works, the whole community benefits. Childcare as an industry is arguably a public good, and has been and continues to be the invisible and silent foundation of our economy and workforce. But it's never been supported like other industries, as small businesses, as educators, as a community service, or as a driver of economic development. Having spent 5 years working in childcare, I personally experienced the wages that continue to hold the industry back. When we talk about cuts to SNAP and Medicaid, we're talking about cuts to programs that childcare workers rely on to feed and keep their children healthy. Because the wages in the industry are so low that 29% of the childcare teachers in Southwest Michigan experienced food insecurity year-round. and over 50% are enrolled in at least one public benefit program. In the last 20 years, since I've been in the classroom, I've heard hundreds of stories from parents and teachers. The national, state, and local data back up everything we're hearing at the local level. Wages matter, and the low wages cause teacher shortages, reducing available childcare slots. Teachers serving low-income families earn on average $17 an hour less than kindergarten teachers, despite needing 97% of the same skills. In Kalamazoo County, 0 to 3 teachers earn less than $14.50 an hour, near the rising minimum wage. Childcare should not be minimum wage work, given its impact on children and the economy. When childcare works, employees show up to their jobs, and when it's high quality, it supports cognitive, social, and emotional growth during the most critical years of brain development. Though the system is fundamentally broken, we have a local opportunity for impact. The state is investing $1.6 million in an 18-month wage pilot, which is going to offer $300 monthly to full-time teachers and $200 for part-time teachers. But fewer than 30 of Kalamazoo County's over 800 teachers are going to be able to benefit. These resources will allow us, additional resources would allow us to use the established pilot mechanism without having to create a new program. And we would ask you to consider the county's role in supporting persistent concerns across social services and how Kalamazoo County could lead and make Kalamazoo County a place where K-12, college access, and our youngest learners and their caregivers are supported. Thank you.
Thank you, Beth. Do we have anyone else? Administrator, is there anyone online? Thank you. Okay. With that, we're going to end our public comment period. We're going to move forward to our next item, which is our review of accounts payable and payroll disbursements. We'll welcome forward our Finance Director, Ryan Post. Oh, he's got a sub in this afternoon. Welcome. You got it.
Thank you, everyone.
Welcome.
Good afternoon, Chair, Vice Chair Pro Tem, and Board of Commissioners. Tonight we have an accounts payable claims list totaling $3,081,945.95, which is presented for review. Of this total, the Board of Commissioners is asked to approve claims totaling $2,837,084.31. Payroll disbursements totaling $4,594,306.07 are presented for the November 7th general and November 14th elected payrolls. That being said, we welcome any questions from the Board of Commissioners.
We're just going to pepper you with tons of questions this evening. Does anyone have any questions?
All right.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, welcome.
Have a good evening. And we'll go on to our next item. Yes, let me say it the right way. So we're going to look at our monthly financial report. Take it away.
All right. Moving on to the monthly financial statements for October 25. This is presented this evening with various comments for the Board of Commissioners to review, with the financials themselves being presented. With that being said, I'd like to open it up for questions on the October 25 statement.
Questions or comments? Vice Chair.
Just two comments. One, I appreciate on these monthly financial statements, by comparison, you've been putting in previous years at what point they were, so I don't have to look that back up again. I appreciate that. My second comment is to the board. We've got, as I've stated before, the transfers in and transfers out. I like to take those out before I put the percentages in, because the transfers out are always happen on January 1st. The transfer didn't happen at the end of the year. But if you look at where we are with our expenditures, we are at expenditures. Yeah, we're at 78.43%. Last year at this time, we were at 82.33. On the revenue side, we're at 85.51. Last year at this time, we're at 73.12. Our revenues are up from last year compared to where we're budgeted. Our expenditures are down from last year compared to where we're budgeted. And we had a $10 million surplus last year. So just put put that out there, and that is my comment. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Vice Chair. And I know, through the budget process, we're going to work as a board, particularly those with skill and interest, and deepening the line item understanding through that process. But we really worked, in collaboration with finance and administration to identify, where we can look at what we've budgeted for expenditures, particularly on unfilled positions, and really, true up sort of what we're doing within the budget process to accurately reflect, because we want to be able to meaningfully plan with the dollars that we have available to back the community. So that's been an ongoing process that we're improving, and I think we continue to be, responsible fiscal stewards for the community. So thank you for that. All right, now you're totally off.
All right. Thank you very much.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Okay. Next, we're going to bring up for our monthly investment report, we'll welcome forward Chief Deputy Treasurer Tyler White. Welcome, Chief Deputy.
Thank you, Chair. All right, well, as of October 31st, the county's investment portfolio had a par value balance of $171,090,063.65 and a market value of $170,829,826.75. The mark-to-market variance between our par and market values is $260,236.90. That's an improvement from September of $54,683.49. So market value is still below par value, but it is improving as interest rates are cut. Some of our higher interest rate options that we locked in starting to bear out there. Like every month, as a reminder, our mark-to-market variance only impacts our bottom line if we were to liquidate our portfolio. Our strategy is to hold assets until maturity to avoid any losses. As always, please don't liquidate the portfolio. For the month of October, our portfolio earned $630,791.28 on an average daily balance of $184,883,375.51. That's an effective rate of return on our investments of 4.02%. It's inclusive of all realized gains, losses, amortization of premium and discounts. And of these $630,000 that we earned, $414,461.58 relates to the general fund and budget stabilization investment pools. For the year, our portfolio has earned $6,001,582.48 on an average daily balance of $164,609,019.25. That's an effective rate of return on our investments of 4.38% for the year. Just like monthly reporting, it's inclusive of all realized gains, losses, amortization of premiums, discounts. And of the $6 million we've earned through October, $3,635,464.94 relates to the general fund, $56,668 relates to the budget stabilization investment pools. That said, roughly $3.7 million of the $6 we've earned is for the general fund. If we assume November and December followed the same track as the last 10 months, we're on track to earn $7.2 million during 2025. For inflation, courtesy of the federal government shutdown, we don't have inflation data for October. We do have September's inflation numbers. I'm going to provide those for a little bit of context of where we stand, but we won't be getting October inflation data. The next time we'll get any of this updates is for November. This will be reported sometime in December. So through September, the year-to-date inflation was 3%, up from 2.9% in August. Our 4.02% rate of return does exceed inflation. We experienced a 1.02% net gain in purchasing power based on September's data, and this is spread across the following categories. Food up 3.1%, energy commodities or fuel down 0.4%, energy services or utilities up 6.4%, of which electricity is up 5.1%, gas is up 11.7%, Shelters up 3.6%, transportation services up 2.5%, medical services up 3.9%, and other commodities, so vehicles, apparel, medical commodities, up 1.5%. I'd be happy to take any questions y'all might have.
Any questions from commissioners? I'm seeing none this evening. Thank you so much.
Thank y'all.
Okay. All right. We're going to move next to item 6 and undertake a presentation and discussion of the draft housing framework. So I'd like to welcome forward our Housing Department Director Mary Balkema and Deputy Director Willa DiToronto. I did. I've got that name down now. Welcome.
There we go.
Good evening, Honorable Chair, Vice Chair, Board of Commissioners. My name is Mary Balkema. I stand before you as the Housing Director to talk about our housing draft framework. Dr. Catlin sent it out a few weeks ago to everyone. I trust that you have it and that you have read it.
Sorry. Sorry. There we go.
See, I never would have figured that out. Good
I
thing you
know.
did.
I know. That's all right. So why is this showing? Okay. There we go. You should be able to advance. Get you guys on that.
Calling it back up.
It's on their screen. All right, I'll go in there.
Okay.
So Chair, what is the draft housing framework? It's high level. It's a blueprint for aligning resources, partners, and strategies across a full housing continuum from emergency shelter to affordable home ownership into one coordinated data-driven system. This is a draft. It's a working document that has had several iterations and will continue to develop as we get more feedback. A little bit of background information. For almost 2 years of cross-sector collaboration with Kalamazoo County Administration and Housing, the City of Kalamazoo, the City of Portage, United Way, the Continuum of Care, Southwest Michigan First, Kalamazoo Gospel Ministries, and Ministry with Community. We've been meeting for almost 2 years to address the very serious issue of homelessness and housing in Kalamazoo County. The framework that was sent out to you is really a vision and a way for us to dream big that what could we do if we had the appropriate funding. The framework is an outline. It is not a comprehensive plan. We've created many opportunities for questions and for feedback. We met at the Expo Center in August with many of our nonprofits. The ones who could not attend, we had one-on-one meetings with. Southwest Michigan First convened members of the business community in September. We had a very lively meeting. We also went back at the chamber meeting and addressed that group again. Administration of Housing have met with many stakeholders one-on-one. What have we heard? We've heard a lot of positivity and a lot of good energy. I also made a presentation to all the group of funders, and they were really grateful that the county was taking the lead. Most feedback has been the need to provide more details, name providers, services, etc. Areas where clarification is needed. The county does not want to do the work. We want to fund the work. There's a difference. We also want to outline clear definitions, minimize jargon, and ensure that we're all speaking the same language. Why now? First of all, community awareness surrounding the issues facing the unhoused is high, and there's been a clear call to action. Housing costs are rising faster than wages. More households than ever are housing burdened. That means they're paying more than 30% of their gross on principal, interest, taxes, and insurance, or they are rent burdened with rent and utilities. Decades of underinvestment stemming from before the Great Recession have really created a fragmented response to the issue. So this framework really represents a shift from reactive crisis management that counties and cities and folks are used to doing to really proactive, data-informed, systems-level approach to the housing issues facing us today. Why was Kalamazoo County picked to be the leader? First of all, the county has stable leadership, and the county has all positions at the top in place for the first time in many, many years. And really, a lot of folks in our community look to the county and the strong leadership that this commission not only has provided, but also in our administrative team. Another reason, nonprofits come and go with funding, but our county will be here in perpetuity. We have built-in transparency, accountability, and fiscal responsibility. I think those are three things that this commission has championed over and over and over again. And as you can see, there's an opportunity twice a month to come before this board and state whatever is on your heart to inform policy decisions that this board takes seriously. I think the county board is known as a collaborator and a convener on important issues in our community. And it's already within the scope of what the county is doing. Housing touches many things. It touches community health, it touches public safety, it touches emergency management, and it touches planning, all things which are under your purview. We obviously have a housing millage, and we've learned many things in our short life. The voters approved the housing millage. In 2020, we have funded projects and programs across the full housing continuum. We've allocated over $33 million into projects over 4 funding rounds. We've supported 17 nonprofit organizations. We funded critical home repair with over 250 owner-occupied homes. We have funded over 1,492 units, of which 74% are under construction or already occupied. This is 50% of the 2,500 total units that have been permitted countywide since the release of the 2022 WE UpGen housing study. So we're proud of that, and we have many, many units going up right now. We're uniquely positioned. That has uniquely positioned the county to get a sense of pressure points, bottlenecks, and gaps in our current ecosystem, especially if you look at housing as an ecosystem.
And so I stuck in this lovely graphic that I can't get enough of. It's something that I like to look back at all the time because it really does show the various types of housing that we have and the ways that an individual or household can move throughout that continuum. And the county, with our housing millage, has funded things throughout this continuum, as was mentioned, all the way from homelessness through affordable home ownership. And so we see how those various organizations that are funded can work together, have worked together, and ways where that can, where improvements could be made in how they collaborate as well.
So we sent out the draft framework to everyone. If you've read it, I thank you for reading it. If you haven't, it's kind of an overview. It talks about coordinated leadership. The County and Housing Department will anchor efforts with 2 divisions and strategic partnerships with the Kalamazoo County Land Bank and the Continuum of Care, 2 natural partnerships. It will be innovative, data-informed. What is a true need and how do we really address it? It will be the full continuum from homelessness response really all the way to home ownership. And it will really shift the mindset from a scarcity mindset to an abundance mindset. How do we make sure our stakeholders are funded well enough to do what they do best? And so we're not all clawing at the food trough for resources. So that's what happens a lot. We have the scarcity mindset, but really, if we had the abundance mindset, how could we do things in abundance for our community, for those who are vulnerable and are struggling?
And it also does look at this as a whole system. So rather than when you think of this as a system, instead of looking at something that's going wrong as the failure of an individual nonprofit or person, this is the failure of our system to be able to address that need right now. And so how do we make sure that everybody is properly supported to be doing the work that needs to be done for the system to work the way it's supposed to work?
So we have proposed this organizational structure. So the county housing will be anchored by two divisions, the supportive housing division and a housing development authority. We have more about the housing development authority to come to you in December. We're excited about that work as well. And we'll continue with our strategic partnerships, the land bank partnership, with a home ownership pipeline, infill development, housing rehab stabilization. They're the ones obviously that own most of the vacant lots, especially in the city of Kalamazoo. And also the Continuum of Care, which is housed at the United Way, which administers HUD and MISHDA funds, coordinated entry for many of our housing programs. Here is the proposing housing ecosystem inputs and outputs. I think that was put on your dais because it's hard to read. If not, we can print one out because I don't expect you to read this.
I think that anything is in green is a money source. And one thing that we've heard throughout our interactions with various stakeholders is a little bit of confusion because we have federal and state dollars coming in through various sectors, and that is natural. That happens a lot of times. We're not trying to redirect any funding or take away anybody's funding that they already have. We just want to make sure that we are going after every single piece of state and federal dollars that we would be eligible for, which right now isn't necessarily happening because of capacity issues.
So what are some strategic tools and investment needs? Shelter and intake facilities. We have some capital project needs. We have operation and program support needs, shelter diversion, shelter operations, transitional and permanent supportive housing wraparound services. We need a comprehensive data management system. Right now, folks don't know who's in the system, the HMIS system. Not everybody uses it and talks to us. Our largest provider, Kalamazoo Gospel Ministries, uses a different system. So it's really fragmented. We need an accelerator fund for more housing development, a county voucher program. We know that when we use vouchers, our own money with our own programs like the Mount Zion Hollander project on the north side, we can really keep it affordable for folks that want to live and retire in their neighborhood. And more need is direct housing assistance, emergency rental assistance, and then down payment assistance and affordable mortgage products. In the framework, there's cross-cutting strategies. Equity, inclusion, and sustainability is our guiding principles. Data-driven decision-making rather than just winging it. Accountability, transparency, and of course, community engagement. And then public and private partnerships.
Public, private, non-partner, or non-profit, quasi-governmental partnerships, that's all encompassing there.
Here's part of the framework in action, the landing place. You were an early leader in this, and it's really something to be proud of in the entire state. Obviously, it's the largest transitional family. We were at a housing meeting in Region J yesterday with all of our surrounding counties, and many people are really jealous of, how did you do it, right? It does take a lot of work and a lot of leadership, and so we're proud of what this board has done, and we humbly thank you for it.
But really, this is a way that the county board recognized a gap in service delivery that we had in our county and decided to figure out a solution to that. We purchased a building, we're renovating the building. We know we are not experts in direct service delivery, and so we've partnered with an organization to do the direct everyday service on a 3-year basis so that they're not scrambling for funding every single year, so they can staff up, they know what their budget looks like for 3 years at least running. It offers a lot of stability, and it allows the people who are professionals and are doing the work to do the work rather than spend their time fundraising to do the work.
So what are our next steps? Our next steps are to secure funding and our aligned funding sources for initiatives identified in the framework. Turn the draft into a strategic and implementation plan with updated timeline and measurable outcomes. So that piece will also get a lot of community input, and we will pay someone to do that, and all of that feedback then will come back to the governing board. So that piece is really, really important, but in order to get that piece, you have to have a high level framework in order to get that piece done. So we're at this high level piece, right? That next piece will come and will encompass everything that I can see that is turning in your brains what you really want on a real data driven granular plan. So that is coming. We'll have widespread community engagement, asset mapping, and any other thing that is under the purview of this board. So I'd like to thank you for the time that you've given us, and we will entertain any questions, Chair.
Thank you, Director. So I just, I want to begin as we open discussion with commissioners. I view this framework as really a transformational opportunity for the community. What we have roughed out as a general framework is the skeleton of what is to come. Provides an opportunity where we can really drive growth. What we've been doing so far with the housing millage, which has been very successful and we should be proud of, is really dependent a lot on market conditions and nonprofit capacity. And over in some of when you dig into the housing applications, the struggle is about building that it's called that capital stack to get the resources you need to move to construction. We funded a lot of nonprofits, but we watched fewer nonprofits come forward in later funding cycles because they're at capacity for what they can do, right? So I want my colleagues also to know that I've been, in ongoing dialogue. I think that our housing department and administrative team, I appreciate their patience with my questions, which I often have lots of them. But we've had, stakeholder discussions with leaders from both the Land Bank and the COC, the business meeting that was held with Southwest First. I've helped to review feedback that came in from our nonprofit partners, and we're continuing. We all should continue to have these dialogues with community members as we launch into what do the rest of the meat and potatoes look like to what we have coming forward. So I'll just start that there. I think community should know that we're deeply invested as a board, and they will be essential component into developing how we go to implementation. But let me open it up for thoughts, feedback, and discussion. Commissioner Gisler.
Thank you, Chair. And let me apologize to my fellow board members for being tardy today. Trains do cross Sprinkle Road every now and then. What can I do? Question, Mary and Willa. I'm glad to know that this is in a formative phase and nothing has been done of a permanent nature, because I didn't see, maybe I missed it, any involvement from the 15 townships and the villages and cities that lie in those 15 townships, which frankly account for 52% of the population of the county. Did I miss it, or is that still in process?
That's definitely still in process. I attend every township supervisors meeting, and we've been filling them in on bits and pieces of this, and we do plan on presenting the framework at one point in time. We've taken a lot of their time on their agendas recently with a lot of different housing initiatives, and so we absolutely do want to bring them along with us and are looking for.
You won't go much further than you are now in terms of developing the framework until you've got 52% of the population represented.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Commissioner Gisler, we didn't want to get ahead of our skis. We wanted to address it to our governing board first, and then get your high-level blessing so we could go forth with marching orders. Because if we do it the opposite way around, it doesn't generally work well.
And I think there have been some ongoing discussions, when we're, housing and planning recently. We're at Cooper Township talking with township officials about like land use policy and really driving some of the overall concepts that we're talking about here, how to really increase and work collaboratively together. And you can hear a lot of support for the initiatives and the recognition that, and you hear over and over in these sessions about people really excited to see the county stepping forward into some leadership and direction in the community. And so I think we're at a point to really build on that momentum here. So I think that'll be good. Vice Chair?
Yeah, thank you very much for your work on this. Again, you've said it in your report. We're here because wages have not kept up with inflation of housing, and it's the national trend. It's the same here in Kalamazoo County. I like the chair's phrase that this is a transformational opportunity, because it is. It's an absolute framework to really have a holistic view on how we look at housing, and data driven, so that we can make sure that we're receiving the best bang for your buck. I love the idea of this from a high level view. But the next piece is where the rubber meets the road, and that's where a lot of the I's and T's are dotted and crossed, as Commissioner Gissler alluded to. And I'm happy to take part in that, or as those get worked, specifically the benchmarks and the metrics, and how we identify whether or not what we're doing is working, what avenues are working and what avenues aren't, so that we can be flexible and then be able to adjust. I think the ability, and that's why I like this plan, it kind of affords us the opportunity to self-assess and reevaluate at different stages as you go through that. So as far as the high level view of it, I'm in complete support, and I look forward to the next piece.
Thank you.
Commissioner Morales.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Director Balkma and Willa, for your presentation. As you know, I went through the document. I appreciate sitting down with Director Balkma and Lindy and Interim Director Lentz about this document. So I did have some concerns. I have some pros and cons. As Commissioner Gissler mentioned, I was a little worried about others not being inclusive in this, and just a select few sitting at the table, as folks are aware of. But, you know, I don't discredit the work. It takes a lot of work to do this. I don't know what I don't know, but I do know that we need to be inclusive in this and take all in first be accountable, but then include everyone from 30 to 80%. And I really want to focus on the 30 to 50%ers, because that's going to be where we're going to have some deep trouble. Like, this is a beautiful document, but even now with 30 to 50%, when we try to get them into single family homes, that's where we have the most difficulty, because they can't afford it. So as we move forward and get, you know, high level partners to help fund this and keep it going, that's what my expectation is going to be, so that in 20 years, the 30 to 50%ers won't be left out. So thank you for your hard work. Thank you for absorbing, you know, my comments. We can grow together with this, but I think this is an excellent opportunity to show not only Michigan, but, you know, go nationwide with what we're doing with housing in Kalamazoo County. So thank you.
Commissioner Gissler.
Thank you, Chair, for humoring me. I know that all of you know that I'm a real sucker for Flash, and I really love that chart, Willa. Thank you.
I love a good graphic too. So,
Commissioner Ray.
Thank you, Chair. Director Balkma and I had some conversations around this as well already, and she answered a lot of my questions. So this is a great high level framework. So thank you for working on this and putting it together. As Commissioner Morales stated, one of my concerns is just the missing parts of that 0 to 50% AMI. And for me, I would like to see that named in there, and not just like once we get down and start working on, you know, implementation, then we'll add those missing components. I also saw racial equity, but there weren't any benchmarks or anything. I don't want to see that weaken either. So I can wait, I guess, for the implementation and strategy to see how that is going to be strengthened and carried out throughout the plan. Another thing for me too, when we talk about redevelopment in some of these historically Black neighborhoods, I like to see us talk about some of these, some ways to make sure people are not getting displaced, because tax
taxes are going up or rent is too high and just different things like that. So folks are able to stay in the neighborhoods and enjoy the redevelopment and not just, you know, be gentrified and pushed out. And then I had a question about the database. So is this gonna like work with HMIS or is this gonna replace HMIS?
It would have to feed into HMIS because there are things that the federal government wants to see through the HMIS systems, but there's also, I mean, there's lots of shortfalls with those systems. And so building out something that can include all of the information and data that we're interested in seeing and is usable by all of the various stakeholders in our system rather than just the ones who are receiving funding through HUD and MISHDA. I think we can certainly do that. Other municipalities have built out their own systems previously.
Okay, so essentially, when I was reading, it sounded like we'd have this database and then HMIS would still exist and then a continuum of care would enter the data into the HMIS.
You can automate that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Commissioner Morales.
Thank you. And last thing, and we could talk about this later, but as the middle class begins to get pinched and neighborhoods begin to see that increase of that 5% of, you know, their taxes increasing every year. I saw the voucher programs. I just want to get a little more information on how we would be able to help maybe a family of 3 that their taxes have went 5%, you know, for the last 3 years, which would probably be about $800 increase, and how we would be able to help those families and not be judgmental of their salary, as we know that doesn't equal wealth. So I like to dig into that. So, and you know, want to support 0 through 50, want to support 30 through 80, but I also, that group in the middle that are paying the highest taxes are struggling, and I want to find ways to give them some type of relief because through MISHDA, HUD, SNAP, they don't qualify for any of, you know, those additional benefits outside of maybe, you know, going to a pantry, but nothing where it would support that dollar amount going in their hand to help with their bills. Thank you.
Thank you. And I think, you know, this, you know, we're at these initial phases of the, you know, public sort of board dialogue here. And I think, you know, our housing department will continue to hear clearly from this commission about priorities, and they're working to advance those. It'll be, I think, on each of us to make sure that we keep community engaged in the process when we move into strategic planning, bringing those voices to the table to make sure that they're having the impact on that long-term framework for us. I think 2 other things I want to highlight that I'm really excited about as potentials in the framework and as we build out the design is that local vouchering program. I think, you know, many folks on the margins who have received state and federal, you know, voucher funds, there are some real weaknesses in the way those programs are designed. You make $1 too much and all of your support is cut out from under you. And that really hamstrings families. People literally make the choice not to take the promotion because they literally cannot afford it. And it side rails their, you know, career trajectory and all sorts of impacts. So we can evaluate those weaknesses in those types of programs and design something homegrown in Kalamazoo that just does it better for people, more humanely and more effectively, with support as the intention rather than judgment as it. The other is through the development of the, so we've sort of changed the housing development unit within the Housing Development Authority, is where right now what we're doing is granting money to developers, and we get a commitment from them for however, you know, 15 years or 20 years for some of the units are going to be affordable. When we move forward with an authority and we're loaning the money instead, we become a part owner, a stakeholder in the development. We have equity in the game, and we have the ability then to influence affordability into perpetuity for these construction projects. That's super exciting. Yeah. You got something, Vice Chair?
Yeah, that just kind of spurred what you were saying. And what it does is when we are going to these developers, we're taking 10%. If we're, say, 50% owner of this equity, we're taking 10% off their profit or off the margins right off the bat. So we no longer have to subsidize a 20% profit margin. So I do like that, and especially with the vouchers, if it's done well and we have a sliding scale and we're building towards self-sufficiency. That's why I loved your model where it kind of showed how do you get into market rate homes, how do you move up that ladder, and building towards self-sufficiency. I think it's so much cheaper and more humane in the long run. So yeah, good observation, Chair.
Director.
Chair, we're coming back the first meeting in December with hopefully your approval of the interlocal agreement. So we are super excited about that. We've been working on that for a year and a half, and we are ready for that to happen too. So we're kind of lining up our meetings, but thanks for queuing that up because we will be back.
I look forward to digging through the details there, Director. All right, anything else from commissioners? Okay, so it's a start, an important start. We've been in the dialogue, but this is sort of the launch out where we'll move into more of a strategic planning phase. Thank you to our experts in the housing department for the work and the ongoing support from administration as well. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right, I'm going to take us to item number 7, 2026 Kalamazoo County Fair update. I want to welcome forward Parks and Expo Center Director Dave Rakowitz. Welcome, Director.
Thank you, Chair, Vice Chair, and Commissioners. I'm here tonight to give you an update on the county fair and fill you in on what's happened since we got some pretty good direction from the Board of Commissioners and sort of share with you where we're at and where we're headed. And also tonight, we're hoping to get some additional feedback or direction from this board in a couple different areas. The first thing I'll mention is following the October 21st meeting, we've had 3 other public meetings, two by the Kalamazoo County Fair Council and 1 by the Parks Commission. So those are both advisory boards appointed by this group that have had the opportunity to sort of review the strategic plan, have a conversation, and then weigh in on the direction that was provided by the Board of Commissioners. So the first update I'll give you is that on October 21st, we were directed to seek an RFP for an organization to implement the 2026 Kalamazoo County Fair. So at its meeting on October 22nd, the Fair Council had a very productive conversation about that discussion, and they really went through various different options of how the fair could be organized and planned, and there was consensus in that group to make a recommendation back to this body to consider an option that is asking the County Parks and Expo Center Department to take the lead. So that would entail us hiring a fair coordinator, some part-time seasonal staff, the support staff to do that. That does not close the door to the ongoing conversation with some community partners about other options that may exist in the future. What it does do is give more certainty for 2026, 2027 versus going out to bid and potentially not getting any bids back and then starting this sort of ball rolling downhill that it's hard to understand that it's, the fair's in August, but it'll be here before we know it. And there's lots of pieces of this puzzle. You heard some tonight about, judges and buying livestock and all the things that, people are sort of preparing for the event. So the first recommendation from the Fair Council was for the county board to consider that instead of going out to bid for a company to run the whole shebang, go out to bid for a carnival company, and work on that piece of it and try and get a carnival company in for the county fair, but that the county park staff would be able to step in and do the organizing and planning for the actual event. We did come up with a budget. Our rough estimate budget is about $450,000 is what we're proposing. We will come back to this board with a detailed budget of expense and revenues. Obviously, there'll have to be some budget adjustments and budget amendments to make that happen. But that includes the $100,000 that's in our current 2026 operating budget, as well as revenue that's going to be generated by the event is going to pay the largest portion of the expense. And then there's a potential discussion of an additional $50,000 in the first year to help support that event. But we would come back to this group with the detail of positions and how we would break that all out and support the event. Update number 2, November 6th, the Parks Commission had a discussion, and they too passed a motion, a recommendation to the Board of Commissioners. And that motion was to disband and reorganize the Fair Council. So that conversation was sort of happening. Following that meeting, what would that look like? And I wanted to give you just sort of a high-level overview of what we think it could look like. One of the things we recognize is that most other county fairs in the state are put on by large nonprofits with working councils or working groups where members run committees. They are sort of subject matter experts in whatever they're doing for the fair. So it could be security, grounds, marketing, special events, entertainment, grandstand shows, down the list, livestock. I mean, they might have 20 plus committees that are operating these county fairs. So we started looking at who are our community partners that could sort of help serve in this role. And one of the things we recognize is we have a lot of partners within the county, within Kalamazoo, the city and the county. So we were looking at a work group where we could bring people in as needed. They don't have to come to all the meetings. We could have subcommittees that could work in sort of areas. We could appoint sort of people to coordinate certain areas. They might be able to reach out to some other people in the community. So some examples, we obviously would include any county commissioners that are interested, as long as we don't have a quorum. Interested Fair Council members, all the existing Fair Council members would be invited to participate. The Park Commission representatives would be included, 4-H coordinator, the 4-H participants, our internal staff that are involved in planning the event. And then as we start to get into who would be new, so we could have the Sheriff's Department, the Kalamazoo Township Police Department, the Kalamazoo Township Fire Marshal could, for example, run the first aid portion of the event. The Public Information Officer of Kalamazoo County, I mean, who better to help us coordinate, even if we go out and hire a firm to help do the marketing, but to help coordinate that communication piece. And, we don't have to be experts in that area. Discover Kalamazoo, we've talked to them, could they lend some marketing expertise and some, community partnership, sponsorships, those types of things. County administration, as we get into special events, we could have senior agencies represented, veterans organizations, youth organizations, and then any type of programs that we hope to host at the event. So I gave an example of if we were able to do a 5K run, and we were able to get the Kalamazoo Runners Association or a group from Kalamazoo that have a strong database. So they may be able to run a 5K is an example at the fair one morning, but we could bring them in, and that's just one example of a type of event that could be hosted at the fair where we sort of work with someone else to do the organization and they could become part of this group. The thing that we've really struggled with over time is just the bureaucracy. So our current layers is we have a fair council, we have a park commission and a county board, and there's recommendations from the Fair Council go to the Parks Commission, and some have to go all the way to the county board. So you could be looking at easily a 30 to 60-day window just to make decisions. And not that we will not follow policy and all the decisions, but we need our hands untied a little bit so we can be a little bit more nimble and really make decisions for, what type of events we're going to do, what themes are going to be on what day, sort of trivial things, but things that don't have to be essentially tied up in bureaucracy. So update number, the piece tied to this is on November 13th, the Fair Council met, and obviously they reviewed the motion that was discussed at the Parks Commission meeting, and they had a very productive conversation again, and there was consensus and overwhelming support by that group to move in the same direction. So there was a motion made and passed that would be the new direction. The other motion that was made prior to that I want to make sure you hear is that the county board set a date for the 2026 fair. So we were originally proposing in the RFP for the carnival companies to have a week with maybe some rolling dates on the outside so that we would have various options to consider in the RFP process. And we got some feedback from the 4-H community that they would like more certainty with the dates. The date that was recommended by the Fair Council is different than the current what has been the past dates of the Kalamazoo County Fair, and they're looking at a week earlier. So it would be the 5th full week prior to Labor Day is how the state fair calendar works on dates prior to Labor Day. So that would be the standing date unless we at some point make a decision to collectively change that date. And one of the reasons they do that is because the fair sort of entertainment circuit has a tradition of, they sort of lock in their events going from fair to fair to fair. So we would change by a week, which just on the cursory review, we don't see any downside to that. And in a lot of ways, there's a positive to it. So I think getting back from school is a plus. Having it a week earlier. And it obviously works better for the 4-H world as well. So update number 3 that we're working on, I wanted to share with you is we're making good progress on a new memo of understanding between the county and Michigan State University that will be presented to this group for approval. And it sort of spells out who's responsible for what within the 4-H component of the event and the Parks and Expo Center. And one thing that we're doing really different from the previous model, I want to make sure you understand, is that previously the county was doing all of it. So under this new model, 4-H is going to take the leadership and organization of the 4-H part. We're going to do the community part and the festival portion of the event. We have finalized our draft of the RFP for the carnival company. We sent that to purchasing today. We need obviously some input from this group on the dates and a little bit of tweaking within that document, but we're ready to go out to bid. We have all the list of the companies we're going to send it to. So, we're hopeful that we will be able to get a carnival company. One thing I want to make sure that we're upfront with you, obviously picking hard dates could have ramifications on who's available and what type of company we end up with. We may have to have a shorter window or, some little bit of nuances, but, I'm hopeful that we'll get something to work out. We are shooting for the 4 or 5 days that this board directed us to. So that's what is included in the RFP. And then we'll probably have some level of alternates available for the companies to submit. The things that we're hoping to get some feedback from the board tonight. Do you accept the recommendations and agree with the recommendations from the Parks Commission and the Fair Council to reorganize the Fair Council into a new group, which will be this fair working group that will be staff driven and really more of a community partnership approach. Hopefully it will be more inclusive and we'll get more people on board.
Yeah, let's just take that up as a point. Are we comfortable with the reorganization? We'll disband the Fair Council, move them to a working committee to advance that. No concerns with that. So we have consensus from board there. Absolutely.
The second question is, are you,
Madam Chair? Excuse me.
Thank you, council.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We will have a motion prepared in that regard for you to add to your agenda at the regular session.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, and we'll take up and glean insight here, and then we'll take motions up at the next session. Thank you. Go ahead, Director.
does the Board of Commissioners accept the recommendation from the Fair Council to pick the dates of that 5th week prior to Labor Day, which will be August 2nd through the 8th for 2026, and then that will be sort of the standing date moving forward unless we make a change to that.
Commissioner Ray, did you have something you wanted to contribute? I'm sorry. Okay, my apologies. I missed your hand. Vice Chair.
Yeah, just to make sure that I don't think there's any problem with this commission for those dates. The only question would be when we put the RFP out, let's say somebody comes in and says, I can make the 4th through, or make only 3 days of your 5-day window. Would that negate us looking at the RFP or anything like that? We'd still look at it as long as they're made some portion of days within that time.
Absolutely, yes.
Okay, then yeah, I have absolutely no problem with that.
Any other thoughts on the RFP process? Commissioner Ray?
So my only concern with changing the date, obviously, is the availability of the carnival portion, and I would like to see that at the fair. So I wouldn't want to see us locking a date until after we get the RFPs back. But that's just me.
I think, thank you for that feedback. I know we had a lot of discussion around dates and a window for dates. And, you know, my understanding too is that this is sort of like late in the process to try to find a carnival provider. But sounds like director is maybe positive that we'll glean, you know, some proposals from them. But there's a potential if we don't firm a date that we kind of end up without a carnival and without much participation from 4-H. So it's just something for us to consider, and we can have more dialogue around it. Commissioner Ray?
So how long is the RFP open?
Is it open for 30 days?
Yeah, I anticipate it'll be about a 30-day window. Yeah.
Okay, so then there shouldn't be urgency that we have to vote on it tonight. We could make the decision after we see the RFPs, correct? Or like, what's the urgency?
Council?
I'm sorry. Madam Chair, having been a regular attendance at the Fair Council, the urgency is really for the 4-H program, which the community has expressed, especially at the Fair Council's meeting, that is the most important part for the children to have. And if this body does not approve that date, it really will throw things off for the children. So that's one reason why the community was so insistent about the date, especially dealing with the animals, not just the horses, but also the others that occur that I've learned about, which they really have to have those dates in place for a number of things to happen, not just the judges, but other, has indicated the state competitions and other things like that. So corporation councils would highly recommend that this body set the date which the Fair Council has suggested. Thank you.
Thank you, Council. Okay, anything further? We'll take that up in a formal discussion later. It sounds like general support, but we have some additional dialogue we can have before we formally vote. Okay, is there anything further?
Yeah, the last question I just want to make sure we're up front with is, I know there was discussions at board leadership, but just make sure there's consensus with this group that the path we're on with the county sort of taking the lead, especially for 2026, that there's agreement instead of going out for an RFP to actually run the whole event, that, you know, we're going to go ahead and, you know, do the mechanics of, and we've hit the ground running already, so we're already invested, and we're excited to do it. I think we can do it. You know, one of the things I heard about is people that are experts in events. You know, our team, we have some of those people on our team. So I think, and Mandy Eldred's here tonight. She wrote the RFP for the Carnival Company. You know, I truly believe we can step up and do what needs to be done.
Thank you, Director. Vice Chair?
Yeah, absolutely. I've got absolutely no problem with this. I think we can put a good fair for the next 2 years. But I do want to stress that our long-term 3 to 5 year plan should be to simulate to what other counties are doing by having a large nonprofit. And if it takes a small subsidy from the county to get that going, anybody out there in the public that wants to take over a fair, please give us a call.
Good. Anything further? All right, seeing nothing. Thank you, Director. Okay. All right, we're going to go to item 8, other items. So I'm just going to give an update on the appointment of the Health Officer Director. So I participated in the second round interviews as a representative for the Board of Commissioners. We had a diverse set of community voices and stakeholders from the health sector that participated in that process. We saw 3 finalist candidates. We have coalesced around one applicant that we are interested in. And so administration at this time is endeavoring into contract negotiations, and hopefully those are fruitful. And then we will come forward at our next meeting once that determination is made on that final candidate. They will present to the board on their view and direction for health and community services. And that will be sort of the final step. The board then votes whether or not they want to move forward with that particular candidate, or if the process is then reopened for further consideration. So that's sort of what the next steps in the process will look like. Commissioner Gisler?
Thank you, Chair. Yes, are we looking at a single person to not only be the director of HCS, but also the health officer, combined together like Kevin is the administrator and controller?
That's correct.
Okay, thank you.
Anything further? All right, that's our update there. We're going to move next to discussion on Texas Charter Township fiscal year 2026 community grant adjustment. So here we've seen a need for them to sort of make an adjustment to the use of their awarded grant. Administrator, can you provide some additional context for us? My apologies.
No, that's okay, Chair. I heard community grants, and I'm working on another thing with community grants. I had to make sure I was looking at the right thing. Yes. So in regards to the Texas Charter Township request, they've asked, as you know, they've been awarded a community grant in the amount of $23,000 to support a trailway project. That's what the board had endeavored to vote on and desired to support at the time. When I reached out to the applicant through the supervisor, so Dr. O'Rourke indicated that they have more capacity and interest in actually funding their community outreach project, essentially, providing more enhanced services to that regard, and wanted to see if the board would support transitioning their funding to support that project. It's essentially the exact same dollar amount. I believe it was $22,750. So essentially the board could support their continuous community engagement and communication initiative project in that amount if so desired. Otherwise, they don't believe that they can move forward with that project because they're going through some staff transition. They don't believe they'll have the capacity to undertake the looks like the Trailway project. So that's what this item's about, and hopefully if you're amenable to it, you can just direct me to move forward with that change in their agreement, and then we can process that moving forward.
Also look like they recognize some fiscal constraints as well, because we had a local match requirement to that funding. So beyond like staff capacity, it's also just fiscally not manageable for them. So we need to make a determination if we want to allow them to flex this use of the funding, or if we want to take another approach. So, Vice Chair.
Yeah, I would make the recommendation that we cut the city of Parchment $23,000 for their lights in order to accommodate the Texas Township trail project. My inclination would be put the 23,000 back into the city of Parchment. And if they're not able to do the trail project that we scored and approved, you can't say that, by the way, our one project that didn't score well, we're going to use the project that did score well to take over that's my 2 cents, but I'm at the will of the board. And on a lot of sort of little dollar amount things, it's not a hill I'm going to die on, but that's my 2 cents.
Commissioner Ray? Commissioner Wheeler?
Thank you, Chair. I don't disagree with Vice Chair at all. I see where he's coming from. I will say Texas Township is in a really tough position right now and it's public knowledge now that they're losing their superintendent, and they also are in the process of hiring a new fire chief. And so they don't really have very much, management over there other than their supervisor, who isn't a full-time employee, as we all know. With that in consideration, I do think that they do have a really big need for community engagement. I feel, they kind of don't have much community there. They don't have a school system, like a dedicated school system. They can be a little, sparse almost, and people look to other communities like Portage or Mattawan or Schoolcraft rather than looking at Texas Township. And so I guess it's just fruit for thought.
Commissioner Mazur and then Commissioner DeLue.
Yeah, I would be fine with switching to the one that they prefer.
Commissioner DeLue.
Yeah, it was my intention initially to support as many townships as we could, and I picked Trailway Project because it sounded cool, Trailway Project. But if they need the money for the other project, they put into a request. We only granted one. I'm fine with letting them keep the money and use it how they wish.
Commissioner Wheeler?
I do have one question. Do we know how the other project scored at all? I know I'm putting you on the spot.
We pulled that one from the bottom as it was.
Because that's something that I would also take into consideration, is if we did still score it pretty high, that it was, something that we would consider.
Yeah, and I would concur with that. I think my recollection, this is a low scoring item. I think it had no or one. Maybe it was. Thank you, Administrator.
Yes, Chair, if I may. So I've looked it up. So it has, it had 2 supporters. Same with Disability Network, 2 supporters, and then right just above, like Girl Scouts, and others had like 3 supporters. So that's just kind of where it scored.
Was it initially recommended by administration?
It was not initially. Both were not initially recommended. So actually, in both of these projects, scored the same. So both projects had 2 supporters.
Yeah. So I mean, I understand the need. I think hearing the issues occurring in Texas Township, I think it might be prudent to let them focus on reorganization and hiring of their new leadership. And then we have programs that we've sort of read through, got to evaluate, and scored, and that are in alignment with the original intent of this funding in a way, but with a different municipality. It still supports municipal funding, which is a priority for some of the commissioners. So I would concur with Vice Chair that we adjust this funding to the Trailway through the city of Parchment, and then open up opportunity in the next cycle for Texas Township to come forward. For consensus, what helps you glean some direction? You just want, I think we're a bit divided, and so Council, thank you.
Madam Chair, may I have a moment to speak to
Yes,
Dr.
please
Catlett, and then I'm
confer.
coming.
Please confer, thank you. Yeah, please, Commissioner Ray.
Thank you, Chair. While we're waiting, just a quick comment. Mothers of Hope also scored higher than this, and we did like a couple pennies for them because we didn't have anything remaining. So could we put that towards like they requested 150,000, we gave them 29,000. Yeah. So.
Thank you for that, Commissioner Ray. Vice Chair?
I'll split the difference with you. Let's take the 23, split it in half to Mother's Hope, half to the city of Parchment.
Are you in support of that concept? Sounds like maybe some consensus dividing these resources between Mothers of Hope and City of Parchment. Look at the right side of our dais here. I'm seeing a no support to that. But I think the side, support to that. Council, please, thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. After speaking with Dr. Callan, Corporation Counsel's office is, I can't think of the word I wanted to use, but we're okay with the consensus of the board. Thank you.
Thank you as well. So I think I'm gleaning 5. So we do have a consensus to take the resources from Texas Charter Township. We're going to divide that dollar amount and reward half of it to Mothers of Hope, an extension of the funding they've already received, and the other half to be added to the City of Parchment's award. Okay. All right. Thank you. Okay. All right. Thanks for working on the fly, everybody. Okay. For first reading, we also have included in the packet a proclamation brought forward by Vice Chair honoring Robert Salisbury for her service on the Retirement Investment Committee. He served for many years and has since passed on, and so we want to recognize his service. The second, championed by Commissioner Morales, is first reading of a resolution declaring housing as a public health crisis in Kalamazoo. Right, so we will take those up for full reading and discussion at our next session. Okay, at this time, we have 2 items from which we need to move to closed session. Sorry, Commissioner Ray.
Thank you, Chair. I just have a couple for the resolution. I think it's a great idea. It looks like it's kind of outlining all the things that we're already doing. Just wanted to know if I could see some more data and information about like the health and safety of some of this housing. Maybe taking some information that we've collected through HCS about some of the stuff in Fox Ridge and how it relates to infant mortality in Kalamazoo County, and putting that in there, and then also just more commitment to actually doing something outside of the things that we're already doing, like providing real deeply affordable housing or just whatever. I don't know. There's no real commitment outside of what we're already doing, if that makes sense.
Thank you for that feedback. Commissioner Morales.
Thank you, Chair Ray. I just want to let everyone know that we've worked, this has been sitting for 2 years. So it's just coming back up in the mix. So yes, it's in alignment with what we're doing and what we discussed, but it was written prior to what we were doing and what we're discussing now. So I'll take that into consideration, and we'll figure out.
Well, it sounds like it's updated.
No, it's updated. Yeah, no, we had to update it, but I'm saying this has been 2 years in the making, and it just came back up in a loop.
Okay, so feedback from Commissioner Ray. We'll take that and work with colleagues to refine language to a little bit more specificity and additional action. Okay, with that, we got a couple of closed session items. Commissioner Wheeler.
Thank you, Chair. There are 2 closed session items, so don't run away after the first one. I motion to further consider the periodic personnel evaluation of the County Administrator Controller pursuant to MCL 15.268A.
Motion made by Commissioner Wheeler, supported by Vice Chair Taylor. Any further discussion? All right, all those in favor, clerk, please call the roll. Sorry, thank you.
Commissioner Ray?
Yes.
Chair Strebs?
Yes.
Vice Chair Taylor?
Yes.
Commissioner Wheeler?
Yes.
Commissioner DeLue?
Yes.
Commissioner Gissler?
Yes.
Vice Chair Pro Tem Hepler? Commissioner Mazer?
Yes.
Commissioner Morales?
Yes.
You have 8 yes.
Thank you. That motion carries. Commissioner Wheeler.
Thank you, Chair. I move that we meet in closed session to consider the attorney-client communication from Corporation Counsel dated November 13th, 2025 pursuant to MCL 5.268 1H.
Motion made by Commissioner Wheeler, supported by Vice Chair Taylor. Is there further discussion? Seeing none, clerk, please call the roll.
Chair Straps,
Yes.
Vice Chair Taylor,
Yes.
Commissioner Wheeler,
Yes.
Commissioner DeLue,
Yes.
Commissioner Gisler,
Yes.
Vice Chair Pro Tem Hepler, Commissioner Mazer,
Yes.
Commissioner Morales, Commissioner Ray.
Yes.
You have 8 yes.
Thank you. That motion carries. At this time, we'll adjourn to closed session. call us back to committee of the whole for November 18th. Commissioner Wheeler?
I make a motion to come out of closed session.
Motion made by Commissioner Wheeler, supported by Commissioner DeLu. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. That motion carries.
I make a motion to approve the first closed session minutes.
Motion made by Commissioner Wheeler, supported by Vice Chair Taylor to approve the minutes from our first closed session. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. That motion carries.
I make a motion to approve the second closed session minutes.
Motion made by Commissioner Wheeler, supported by Vice Chair Taylor to approve the second closed session minutes. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. That motion carries. All right, that's all of them. Thank you. We were just going quick. With that, we are adjourned. I'm going to call to order Kalamazoo County Board of Commissioners regular business meeting for November 18th. We'll begin with our first item, our invocation and reflection, and that is going to be from Commissioner Mazer. Do you want to invite him forward with your?
Pastor Brown will be joining us tonight for the invocation.
Welcome, Pastor Brown.
Thank you. Thank you very much for this opportunity. Let's pray. Almighty God and gracious Father, we humbly invite you to these proceedings today. Bless these commissioners, God, as they prepare to serve the citizens of Kalamazoo County. Grant them wisdom to make just decisions, courage to boldly face challenges, and humility to listen and learn. May their efforts be guided by fairness, compassion, and a sincere desire to improve the lives of all our citizens. We also pray for our entire community. May peace, unity, and prosperity abound. Help us to work together in harmony for the betterment of our country, our city, and our citizens. Father, we thank you for the trust being placed in this commission today. May their meetings be conducted with respect, clarity, and purpose. In the name of Jesus, amen. Thank you. To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, we'll move to item 3. Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Commissioner Ray,
Present.
Chair Streps,
Here.
Vice Chair Taylor,
Here.
Commissioner Wheeler,
Here.
Commissioner DeLue, here. Commissioner Gissler, here. Vice Chair Pro Tem Hepler, Commissioner Mazer,
Here.
Commissioner Morales. You have 8 present.
Thank you. All right, we'll go, we'll go next to item 4, item 2025-1445. Request for approval of a proclamation honoring Pastor Michael L. Brown. That's going to be presented on our behalf by Commissioner Morales.
Thank you, Chair. Whereas Pastor Michael L. Brown has faithfully served the people of Kalamazoo County for over 28 years, embodying a rare blend of servant leadership, vision, and courage that has strengthened individuals, families, and communities alike. And whereas his distinguished 23-year career in the United States Navy instilled in him the discipline and compassion that would later define his ministry, shaping his lifelong commitment to service and integrity. And whereas through his tenure at Kalamazoo Gospel Ministries, Pastor Brown has led a transformation of the organization from a local shelter into a comprehensive center of hope and restoration, providing pathways to stability, healing, and spiritual renewal. And whereas his leadership extended beyond organizational growth to include strategic partnerships such as the merger with Kalamazoo Deacons Conference, the development of new facilities for individuals, and expanded services addressing the root causes of poverty and homelessness. And whereas Pastor Brown's voice has been resonated across Michigan as a trusted leader, serving on statewide commissions and national boards, and representing Kalamazoo County with integrity and excellence in the broader gospel rescue mission and City Gate networks. And whereas his example of godly leadership and compassionate truth-telling has influenced pastors, civic leaders, and residents across generations, modeling how faith can fuel meaningful community transformation. And whereas together with his wife, Rosemary, Pastor Brown has devoted his life to strengthening families through mentorship, marriage ministry, and pastoral care, embodying the belief that strong families build strong communities. And whereas even beyond his official duties, Pastor Brown continues to honor his military service, calling by conducting memorial service for veterans and offering his time, wisdom, and heart to those in need. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed that the Kalamazoo County Board of Commissioners does hereby recognize and celebrate Pastor Michael L. Brown for his steadfast service, transformational leadership, and enduring impact on the people of Kalamazoo County. Thank you.
Motion is made by Commissioner Morales and supported by Vice Chair Taylor. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? That motion carries. Commissioner Morales is going to join you and present you with a copy of that proclamation. Please come forward and join us, Pastor Brown, and your wife as well, please, Rosemary. That's good. Congratulations. Thank you, Pastor Brown. Pastor, would you like to share any other comments? You're welcome if you'd like to. Uh-oh.
I have serving at the gospel mission here in Kalamazoo has been, without a doubt, it's been the greatest joy of my life, working with the people here in Kalamazoo and working with some of you all on a daily basis, trying to figure this whole thing out about homelessness because it's evolving. The one thing I would highlight during this time is I kind of feel kind of out of place because I know that leadership and all of the things that were read here is never one person. We have an incredible team at Kalamazoo Gospel Ministry, some of the finest people that I have ever worked with anywhere, especially in ministry as well. And so my hope is that the upward trajectory that our organization is on is going to continue, and I know it will under the leadership of Pastor John Simpson, who's taken over at the 1st of January. And I look forward to seeing you all in the community. God bless you all, and thank you all so much for this. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Right. And we're going to move forward. Next to item 5 is communications. We have none. To item 6, we'll go to approval of the minutes. Item 2025-1485, request for approval of the November 5th, 25 draft Committee of the Whole and regular meeting minutes. Support. Whoops. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? That motion carries. We'll go to item 7, approval of the agenda. Commissioner Wheeler.
Thank you, Chair. I move that consideration of a resolution regarding the county's donation acceptance policy be added to the agenda under new business.
Thank you. So motion, is there support? Support. Motion from Commissioner Wheeler, supported by Vice Chair Taylor. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, we'll move forward now for the approval of the agenda as amended. Oh, I'm sorry, Commissioner Wheeler.
I have another amendment.
Yes, thank you.
I appreciate it. I move that consideration of a motion to disband the Fair Council be added to new business.
There's a motion. Is there support?
Support.
Motion by Commissioner Wheeler, supported by Vice Chair Taylor, to add the disbandment of the Fair Council to new business. Any further discussion? Vice Chair.
Was there also to put the dates in there, discuss that as well, or is that going to be a separate motion?
That should be.
I'm sorry, I see council, yes?
That will be a separate motion, and I do apologize. I'll have that ready. If we can add that to new business, but we'll have the substantive motion ready.
Okay, I'll support that, and then I'll probably add another one just for discussion, even if we don't finish discussion tonight. At least we can have it on the. Okay.
All right, so we have a motion to add the disbandment of the Fair Council and the establishment of the fair dates to new business.
I'll do a separate motion for that.
A separate motion. So motion at hand is for the disbandment of Fair Council to new business by Commissioner Wheeler, supported by Vice Chair Taylor. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. Vice Chair Taylor.
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion that we, or not make a motion, I'd like to add to the agenda that we have August 2nd through August 8th as the dates for the Kalamazoo County Fair per the recommendations from the Fair Council.
Motion is made by Vice Chair Taylor, supported by Commissioner Wheeler, for the addition of Fair Council dates to new business. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. So now we'll move the motion for the approval of the agenda as amended.
So moved.
Who was our, thank you. Motion made by Commissioner Wheeler, supported by Commissioner Morales. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? That motion carries for the approval of the agenda as amended. We'll go to item 8, presentations. We have none. To item 9 for public hearings. We also have none. And then to item 10, public comment, our first session. Public comment again can be made in person or by phone at 855-925-2801 and enter meeting code 10748. Then press *3 to join the queue. If you do wish to speak during both public comment periods via phone, you must press *3 again at any time after this first public comment period ends. Again, whether in person or on the phone, you have up to 3 minutes to address the board in a professional and respectful manner. Once you're recognized, please share your name and where you are from. Is there anyone wishing to make a public comment? Please come forward and join us. Welcome again.
Hey, good evening, commissioners. I heard a question in the committee of the whole meeting regarding why is there urgency around setting a date for fair. And I wanted to just reiterate some of the points and some of the reasons why it is important that we have a date. I also heard Dave mentioned that the RFP for the carnival was submitted today. If we give that 30 days to go through the process and then contract negotiations and then approval by this board, you're looking at January 20th before we'd actually have potentially a date. We do have about 200 families in Kalamazoo who have children exhibiting in the fair. They do need to make summer plans. They need to book camps. They need to schedule or reserve vacations. They need to secure childcare. And they also need to book time off work for the fair. And for many of us, that means that we need to get those requests in December. We do have businesses in Kalamazoo who support our 4-H families, such as East Fork Farms. And again, if the date that they pause their summer camps specifically for our 4-H children to use their animals at a fair, and that is in conflict with the date that the fair is set, you're going to have 7% of your families not able to attend the fair, and half of your horses will not be in the stalls. Judges across all disciplines need to be booked. Ideally, that booking time would be done by now. The end of October is when we ideally try to get those judges booked. November is doable, but it's still stretching us a little thin. We even have to book people like auctioneers, and we have to book meat packing plants and things like that. All of that comes in for the fair. Market animal families, they have to plan backwards from Fair Week. So they need to select animals that are going to be the correct age, that will start being fed at the correct time so that they will hit target weights and sizes for judging. And they have to reserve those animals now. So it is important for them also to have those dates. So there's multiple moving parts from a 4-H standpoint. And I would encourage you that if you value 4-H and if you want 4-H to be part of the fair and be part of the showcase and to continue growing in the county, that it truly is an important thing to get that date set. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else wishing to make public comment? Seeing none. Administrator, is there anyone online? Thank you, Administrator. All right, we'll close that first opportunity for public comment, and we'll move to item 11, our consent agenda. Vice Chair.
Chair, I move that we move all items on the consent agenda by roll call vote, and one roll call vote to be considered a consent agenda by the board.
Thank you. Motion made by Vice Chair Taylor, supported by Commissioner DeLu to accept the consent agenda. Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Commissioner Wheeler,
Yes.
Commissioner DeLu,
Yes.
Commissioner Gisler,
Yes.
Vice Chair Pro Tem Hepler, Commissioner Mazer,
Yes.
Commissioner Morales, Commissioner Ray,
Yes.
Chair Straps,
Yes.
Vice Chair Taylor.
Yes.
You have 8 yes.
Thank you. That motion carries. We'll go to item 12, unfinished business and general orders. We have item 2025-1439. This is request for approval of a second amended and restated County Administrator Controller Employment Agreement. Motion is made by Vice Chair Taylor, supported by Commissioner Morales. Is there any further discussion? I'll just add congratulations to Administrator Controller and our continued relationship together. All right, with that, Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Commissioner DeLu,
Yes.
Commissioner Gisler,
Yes.
Vice Chair Pro Tem Hepler, Commissioner Mazer,
Yes.
Commissioner Morales, Commissioner Ray,
Yes.
Chair Straps,
Yes.
Vice Chair Taylor,
Yes.
Commissioner Wheeler.
Yes.
You have 8 yes.
Thank you. That motion carries. Congratulations. All right, we'll go to item 13, new business, non-consent. First, we'll take up the existing item 2025-1400, which is a request for approval of a fund transfer from Housing Millage Fund 297 to Transitional Housing Fund 296 to support the creation of 2 new buildings and grounds department staff positions at the landing place.
So moved.
Motion is made by Commissioner Wheeler and supported by Commissioner DeLu. Is there further discussion on this item? All right, I'm seeing none. With that, Clerk, will you please call a roll?
Commissioner Gisler,
Yes.
Vice Chair Pro Tem Hepler, Commissioner Mazer,
Yes.
Commissioner Morales,
Yes.
Commissioner Ray,
Yes.
Chair Straps,
Yes.
Vice Chair Taylor,
Yes.
Commissioner Wheeler,
Yes.
Commissioner DeLu.
Yes.
8 yes.
Thank you. That motion carries. We'll go to item 2025-1437. Request for approval and signature of an ARPA agreement with Ministry with Community in the amount of $17,200 for secured lock storage for persons experiencing housing instability. Thank you. Motion is made by Commissioner DeLu, supported by Commissioner Wheeler. Is there further discussion? I will add just a little bit. We had discussion at the last COW regarding this, and in consultation with Ministry with Community, rather than a larger, multi-gallon size storage, what they have capacity to do at this time is to extend interior locker storage. It will not have as large of a capacity. In order to coordinate exterior storage, it would require the construction of overhang or something over it. And so this will expand some locked storage for folks with housing instability, but I am still committed to problem solving and advancing along with our housing department other solutions for more larger storage. It just may take a bit more planning and another location potentially as well. So I just wanted to refine that for the commissioners. Okay. Any further questions? Okay. With that, I guess I'll stick with the same approach. Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Mazer,
Yes.
Commissioner Morales, Commissioner Ray,
Yes.
Chair Strebs,
Yes.
Vice Chair Taylor,
Yes.
Commissioner Wheeler,
Yes.
Commissioner DeLu,
Yes.
Commissioner Gisler.
Yes.
You have 8 yes.
Thank you, Clerk. Commissioner Wheeler, you take the first item.
Thank you, Chair. I move that the resolution to temporarily delegate donation acceptance authority to the board chair be adopted.
So motion by Commissioner Wheeler, supported by Vice Chair Taylor. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Mazer,
Yes.
Commissioner Morales, Commissioner Ray,
Yes.
Chair Strebs,
Yes.
Vice Chair Taylor,
Yes.
Commissioner Wheeler,
Yes.
Commissioner DeLu,
Yes.
Commissioner Gisler,
Yes.
Vice Chair Pro Tem Hepler. You have 8 yes.
Thank you. That motion carries. Commissioner Wheeler, our second item.
I move that the Fair Council Advisory Board established pursuant to Public Act 11 of 1929 be disbanded, its duties under the Public Act be assumed by the Parks Commission, and that a working group be created to be organized by the County Parks Department with its first meeting to be held within 30 days.
Motion is by Commissioner Wheeler and supported by Vice Chair Taylor. Any further discussion? Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Morales,
Yes.
Commissioner Ray,
Yes.
Chair Strebs,
Yes.
Vice Chair Taylor,
Yes.
Commissioner Wheeler,
Yes.
Commissioner DeLu,
Yes.
Commissioner Gisler,
Yes.
Vice Chair Pro Tem Hepler, Commissioner Mazer.
Yes.
8 yes.
Thank you. That motion carries. Vice Chair Taylor, our third.
I move that the dates for the 2026 Kalamazoo County Fair be set from August 2nd, 2026 through August 8th, 2026 in accordance with Fair Council's recommendations, and that the county administration pursue an RFP to secure a carnival vendor for days within that timeframe.
Motion made by Vice Chair Taylor, supported by Commissioner Wheeler. Further discussion? Right, seeing none, clerk, please call that.
Commissioner Ray,
Yes.
Chair Strebs,
Yes.
Vice Chair Taylor,
Yes.
Commissioner Wheeler,
Yes.
Commissioner DeLu,
Yes.
Commissioner Gisler,
Yes.
Vice Chair Pro Tem Hepler, Commissioner Mazer,
Yes.
Commissioner Morales.
Yes.
8 yes.
Thank you. That motion carries. All right, that brings us to our second opportunity for public comment. Again, members may participate in person or by phone as previously stated. Final opportunity tonight to address the board for up to 3 minutes. Once you're recognized, please share your name and where you're from. Please welcome.
Good evening. I'm Andrea Trammell, Administrator of the Community, and I just want to say thank you so much to the board for the opportunity for funding the locker project. Chair Streps was right in talking about that we will expand our current locker program, which is now 150 lockers, to an additional 33 with these dollars. And we constantly have a waiting list. All of our lockers are full 100% of the time. So this will give 33 individuals a place to store their vital records and their most beloved possessions. We wish it was bigger, but we just don't have that space. So we will continue to look at a way to help with storage because we know that that is an issue. And again, we want to say thank you again for also funding the money through for the COC for the temporary overnight shelter. That is progressing very well as of I just purchased the mats a couple hours ago. So hopefully within a few weeks, we will be housing people temporarily overnight and be open 22 hours a day. So we appreciate the leadership that this commission has done and trying to solve this problem as that we can serve 80 individuals this winter and that they will have a safe, warm place and be well fed. So thank you, Commission.
Thank you. We're grateful for the partnership. Is there anyone else wishing to make public comment, please? Absolutely. Welcome again.
Thank you, Commissioners. I think I forgot to give my name. And Kim Kimmy, Richland Township, Kalamazoo County. I just wanted to say thank you to all of you for listening to the public comment, for understanding the urgency of setting the fair dates, and for amending your agenda and getting that motion on the table tonight. It is extremely appreciated, and I think I can speak safely on behalf of all Kalamazoo County 4-H families in saying that. And I would also like to thank you for moving forward on the reorganization of Fair Council and how we manage our fair going forward. Thank you.
Thank you. Best of luck. All right. Anyone else? An administrator, is there anyone online? Good. All right. Thank you. We'll go now to reports of officers, bodies, administrator, and controller. It's been a very busy week. I think potentially Commissioner Ray will share a few more details, but I want to encourage community. We have led an initiative by Commissioner Ray, local women leaders in the community hosting the opportunity to fund families for Thanksgiving dinner. And I look forward to sharing more from her on that as we advance forward. Again, congratulations to Administrator Catlin. I remain personally honored to serve with you, to work with you as a colleague. I'm grateful for that. I hope you know, as I tell you, often you have my strong support, the support of this board, and the support of those who report to you and the team here in county government. So you just have done tremendous work for us, and we look forward to continuing to advance that work. We've made some important advancements, and within this last week, along with Commissioner Ray, last week and this week, at board dialogue, we talked about, the community grants that we made to community-based organizations within our 2026 budget. We worked through opioid settlement fund remediation grants and funded additional community-based programmings to tackle issues related to substance use disorder and opioids within the community. This board and county government remains committed to advancing the work to organizations with the expertise to touch community members in a place where they feel safe and can trust those that they work alongside with. And I think that is tremendous effort that we have marshaled through in our process. We've solidified and refined it, and we keep getting better at it. And I'm so excited to hear back from the organizations about what gets accomplished. We also formalized discussion around the housing framework this evening. We are about to launch into a really strategic planning process, and the county remains the best positioned to really garner how we advance solutions for housing across the community. As a convener of local governments, community-based organizations, and community members, the potential that we have and the work that we've already done to build upon is just a tremendously exciting thing to be part of, and something I think, I hope, in many of our careers that we'll always be grateful for participating in. My colleagues are all rolling their eyes at me to move it along, so I will do so. But thank you all for your work and congratulations on all of that. Vice Chair.
Thank you, Chair. Used a term today, transformational opportunity. And I think that's so fitting for what this community framework for the housing is going to be. There's so much potential here to revolutionary change how governments provide housing for everyone from that. I mean, this is really truly an opportunity to showcase Kalamazoo County government on a national stage. So it's really, really exciting. Congratulations to Kevin on his new contract. I'm really excited and honored as well to work with you. You have one of the best personal administrative sort of, how you deal with people is just truly amazing me. I don't have that capacity whatsoever, that patience that you do. It's truly remarkable. Lastly, I'm glad we are moving in the right direction on the county fair. I think this is a great opportunity to showcase those in our community that we value the agricultural portion of our community as well as every other port. We're a big county. We've got a lot of different sections within Kalamazoo County. And according to our report, 33% want to see a festival type within Kalamazoo County. And as I've said, that's 80,000 Kalamazoo County residents have said in the survey that they would like to attend the county fair. And partnering that with showcasing our 4-H and all that they do with the visitors that we can provide, I think it's going to be a win-win situation for not just our community, but our 4-H families as well. So I'm really excited about that. And lastly, Gigi, if you're still up, it's time for bed.
Vice Chair Pro Tem is not with us, so we'll move forward to Administrator's report.
All right, thank you, Chair, Vice Chair, Vice Chair Pro Tem's not here, but either way, in case he's watching and Commissioners audience. So first of all, I want to say thank you first and foremost to the board for your confidence in me and extending my contract and the partnership. It's an honor and privilege to serve this board, the community, and work alongside our very esteemed team of colleagues, whether they are my direct reports and or the countywide elected officials in the courts. We have a very good working relationship with this entire team, and we get a lot of work done. I always tell folks Kalamazoo County moves at a very fast pace, which it's not typical for a county, but it's good that we do this. It's a challenging job, and I love it every day. So not to sound cliche, really, I do love coming here every day. One of the things, I have several items, and I'll try to be quick, but one of the things that I wanted to touch base on was kind of just showing some solidarity with our housing director. She just experienced tremendous loss in her family, and I would like to begin this evening by encouraging board members, our staff, the public, and keeping our housing director and her family in our thoughts and prayers following the recent loss of her mother. I can only imagine what she's going through, and I think that moments like this remind us that humanity behind the work that we do and the importance in supporting one another is important, as we are a county family. So please extend our deepest condolences to to her and her family during this difficult time. Please keep our Director Balkman in your thoughts and prayers. I wanted to also highlight appreciation to our finance team. They do a great job, and finance team, including the treasurer's office, do a phenomenal job preparing monthly status reports to the board. And tonight you got to see and meet our deputy finance director, Phil Chakowski. And so we actually stole him from a competitor, and he's phenomenal. Stole him from Maynard Costarin, and he does a phenomenal job for us. What we'd like to do is be intentional about bringing in some of our deputy directors and supervisors to engage directly with the board. And so you got to see a little bit of that this evening. Helps instill confidence from the board to staff, and then to staff to the board, and presenting that complex information, and strengthens, I would say, our organizational leadership pipeline. So we're appreciative of you entertaining that tonight. Phil does a phenomenal job, and Tyler White does a phenomenal job too. Very dedicated employees, very competent. So we're appreciative of their leadership. Wanted to just let you know too that I've been invited to engage with the incoming city manager for Kalamazoo. As you know, we have a very strong relationship with the city and all of the communities within the county. So we'll be traveling down with a group of managers, administrators within the county, a group of leaders within the county, to Des Moines, Iowa, to meet with him, to ensure a smooth transition, to offer our support, to let him know that he has a lot of dedicated and hopeful professionals awaiting him, and so that way we can ensure strong partnerships remain foundational to our well-being and prosperity in Kalamazoo County. Let's see, I wanted to update you on the progress at the landing place. So we're very pleased with some of the progress that we've been making there. We received full site plan approval, as well as required permits to begin renovation work on that project. We're currently working with Cornerstone Construction to refine an estimated construction timeline. So that is to be shared soon, as after we meet with our construction contractor on that project. Once that schedule is finalized, again, we'll share that with the board and the community, because I know everyone's anxious to learn when we'll be able to adopt that phased-in approach for move-in. So, but work is progressing, and now we're over that hurdle, and now we'll kind of continue on down the path, and then keep you all updated. I wanted to just give also some acknowledgement to retiring city manager Ritzma for Kalamazoo. He's provided steady and thoughtful leadership to the city, and helping guide numerous initiatives and contributing strong foundation to city government. So I just want to thank him for his service, and like I said, we look forward to working collaboratively with the new city manager, Malcolm Hankins. And then lastly, I wanted to acknowledge community concerns around the ViaPath extension agreement that pertains to the sheriff's office's jail communications contract for residents within the jail. So just to remind the public, the board approved a 1-year extension of that agreement, and that extension carries us through November 2026 and ensures that we have appropriate time to conduct a competitive bidding process consistent with our purchasing policies. This action was taken deliberately in direct response to community concerns, and reflects a commitment to our transparency, due diligence, and public engagement. And then over the coming year, what we will be doing is developing and issuing an RFP to evaluate service providers and ensure the county selects the most qualified and appropriate cost-effective solution for the residents in the jail. So that'll be something that'll be discussed at an upcoming board meeting, but a future board meeting rather, once we head down that path into that process. So that's all I have for this evening. I thank you for your time.
Thank you again for the reminder on ViaPath, and I have met to share the last couple of sessions, in response to becoming aware of the concerns, along with our approach to make sure we move to a competitive process next year. I endeavored, with the graciousness of the sheriff, I went through an in-depth tour of the jail. I spoke with folks currently serving sentences in the jail, both males and females. I talked to them about day-to-day life. I looked at the equipment within the jail, the facility standards, and I want to thank the sheriff, undersheriff, and all of the corrections deputies that took time with me through a big chunk of the day to provide me that opportunity, but we hear the community concerns, we take them seriously, and we work to be responsive to that. Thanks to the administrator for ensuring that we lift that up as well. Is there anything else for administrator? No? Okay. All right, thank you. With that, we'll go to commissioner comments. Okay, so we'll go Commissioner Wheeler.
Thank you, Chair. I'll kick it off by giving a report about one of my committees. As you all know, I sit with Discover Kalamazoo, which is our visitors bureau, and they are moving at a fast pace for the youth and amateur sports facility. We are actually conducting interviews tomorrow to hopefully select a company to operate the youth sports facility. And so that project is moving right along. It's very, very exciting. And then from there, it'll just be construction time. Other than that, I'm excited to start with ISK. I have not met with them yet, but will shortly. And I just wanted to reiterate what Chair said earlier about the leaders, women leaders in Kalamazoo, and providing a Thanksgiving meal to families in Kalamazoo. So if you feel so inclined, there is information on most of our social medias platforms to donate if you're interested, to be able to provide these families a Thanksgiving dinner this year. So I'm really proud to be a part of that leadership group that decided to head this up, and I hope it's something that we can make a tradition every year.
Mr. Morales.
Thank you, Chair. So congratulations, Dr. Catlin, on your contract. Excited to continue this work and this journey with you. My condolences goes out to Director Balkema. I made sure to send her a text and give her something nice to continue the honor of her mom. Moms are precious. And as always, we thank the good Lord for how much time we get to spend with our mommies on this earth. So sending my heartfelt condolences out to you and your family during this difficult time. As my fellow Commissioner Wheeler mentioned, we have this Thanksgiving food giveaway. Thanks to Commissioner Ray, who brought all women leaders of Kalamazoo County together. We are going to feed 250 families. I will send this the flyer to Dr. Catlin and maybe put it up on our social media so people can scan. But there are different ways to give. $50 provides a complete meal for a family. We have taken into consideration that families may be houseless and can't cook, so we're putting some ready-made items together so that no one is left out during this holiday season. So there are some different barcodes on here. Thank you to Navigation of Hope for hosting the financial portion, where folks can distribute the money to them, and then we'll buy the packages. And once you read this flyer, it'll tell you the location. We need volunteers to pack up the food, to distribute the food. So roll your sleeves up, put your hoodies on, and let's show Kalamazoo County that we really care on all sectors, from food to housing, to make sure that we take care of individuals. I would also like to shout out Kalamazoo County Health and Human Services. My other hat as Director of Student Wellbeing and Thriving at Kalamazoo Valley, we have partnered with Lentz, what is her title, my brain? Health Officer. Perimenopause is killing me. I start sweating, I can't think. So our health officer has been so gracious to allow her team to come over once a month to give different events for our students, from HIV testing to immunization. So all of the episodic care that someone may need. They have also stocked my market with everything from pads to contraception, toothpaste, toothbrushes, and I am just so grateful. So they were out here today. Dr. Catlin got to have a tour of our Circle Center, which I would like to invite all of you to our soft launch on Monday, the 24th. My president's office will send Dr. Catlin an official invite to invite the board if you all can make it out. So our KB Circle Center is one that will have a free market for students and staff to come in and shop once a week for free. We have local partners like the South Michigan Food Bank, United Way, that come in, and we don't have to take income. It's a simple application, and you scan your Valley ID, and there's everything from you can create a meal in there to grab and go. So if you all can make it, or the community can make it, I would love to see you out there. We also have a resource hub that will house Avia Family Health Center, ISK, so that our students get all around support, from educational support to how to balance their funds. So when they get a job, like, you can't keep spending your money on Gucci belts and sneakers and McDonald's. So we're trying to teach them, especially with how the world is changing, how to balance their budgets. And we also have a houseless problem among students. We actually have students living in tents commuting to Kalamazoo Valley that are in degree seeking programs and come to class every day. So this issue is not just in our downtown area, it's out there as well. I'm hurrying up. I'm acting like Chair Strevs tonight. Congratulations to our new city manager, Manager Hakens. And then I would like to shout out Prosecutor Almeida for his 27 years of service. I was saddened to know that he will not be with us any longer. He's going to go work for a firm. But during our next budget, I really want to take into consideration how we fund the salaries of our prosecutors. We are losing some really, really good people. And what I'm hearing from our employees is that I can't stay here and my pension not cover me when I retire. So I really want us to think about that as we move forward. And that's all I got. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you, Commissioner Morales. Commissioner Mazur.
I have two things. Congratulations, Dr. Catlin. You do so much for our county and for our board, and you are appreciated everywhere. So thank you very much. And also to Director Balkema, you and your family are in my thoughts and prayers. So.
Commissioner Gisler.
Thank you, Chair. I want to put ditto marks for Mary and for Kevin. Congratulations, Kevin, and condolences, Mary. The only other things I want to comment on are my Kalamazoo Citizens for Responsible Government met last Monday, not yesterday, but a week ago, and Matt Hansen, who I don't see frequently. Matt sits in on these things, and he's our equalization director, and he talked equalization to a group of people that knew very little about equalization. And I can't tell you that they're all experts, but it really showed that he's been doing this for a long time, really knows his stuff. And we're very fortunate to have a guy leading the equalization team like Matt. So I'm a big fan. And also with respect to the Kalamazoo Citizens for Responsible Government, our next meeting is December 8th, excuse me, and we're going to have a public affairs representative from Enbridge talk to us about energy. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner DeLue.
Yes, Mary, I'm sorry, I didn't know earlier, so it's never easy losing a parent, that's for sure. Dr. Catlin, I want to congratulate you and thank you for your patience. I know you probably wanted the contract 2 weeks ago, but we had some questions and concerns, and you allowed us to address them, and we appreciate it. And I want to thank, I don't know who gets all the credit, so I'm going to give it to Director Raklovitz there. I thought, and even in my own mind, the fair was a dead deal. And then we got the packets for tonight's meeting, and I thought somebody has put a lot of work into this very quickly. And so I'm sure the director had played a huge role. The Fair Council, I appreciate your flexibility in changing how things are done. And it looks like it could possibly be a success. I doubted it from the beginning, but so thank you for all your work. And I also want to thank Chair Strebs and the director and his staff. I know Lindy's here. The Veterans Day last week, a great turnout. Thank God they had it inside. The turnout wouldn't have been so well, but Chair Strebs gave some great opening remarks. And along with that, to the Building and Grounds Department, I told Dr. Catlin at the Veterans meeting, we had that proclamation about the Green Light Project. And Lauren King from the office was so impressed with the way the Pratt Justice Center looked. She couldn't believe it, how the front and the back both, they really went out of their way to honor the veterans, and it was very much appreciated. So thank you for everybody that came out. It was a great turnout and some good speakers there. So thank you.
So just before we adjourn, also my condolences, Director Balkema. I also didn't realize earlier, and I just want to recognize the grace for you to be here tonight with us in the work in your time of mourning. I know that your mom is very proud. Administrator Catlin, you had additional comment that you wanted to make.
Yes, actually, I thought you were. Yeah. Anyway, well, yes, I appreciate it. I was going to just say it for next time, but really quick, there are two things, and this doesn't have to be decided on tonight, but I do want to put back on the radar. Speaking with board leadership, we are endeavoring to coordinate a Kalamazoo Day at the Capitol with our lobbyists to meet with our legislators. So on December 2nd, I'll mention it again, and we'll try to solidify some dates. It should be early Q1. We want to get in front of the budget process, the state budget process, so that we can get some of our requests in. So he believes that that will be paramount to obtaining some earmarks or dollars that we need for pretty big projects. The last thing that I wanted to mention, and this is all thanks to, thank goodness that Chief of Staff Sutton has reminded me that's why we have these positions, because there's so much going on. On January 6th is our organizational meeting for the Board of Commissioners. We would like to begin with a 4:00 p.m. Typically what we do when we have the organization meetings, we actually begin at the regular time, the regular meeting time, but we'd like to begin at 4 p.m. so Corporation Counsel can deliver a training, and then we'd start the actual regular meeting, the organizational meeting at 5:30 that day. So 4 p.m. training, and then 5:30 meeting time for the organizational meeting. And then at that meeting, you will adopt your 2026 meeting schedule. So we just wanted to put that on your radar, that we will begin at 4 p.m., which is not traditional, but we would like to deliver a training provided by Corporation Counsel. So yes, for the board, training for the board training. Yeah, that kind of thing. A lot of training. So yes. Yes. So that's all I have, Chair. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Administrator, and everyone. With that, we are adjourned.